What's up everybody, this is Danny and today I'll be doing the video comparison between the new Apple iPhone 17 Pro Max versus the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra and the Google Pixel 10 Pro XL. So let me know what video looks better, what microphone sounds better, but let me put this down because I want to show you what's new with the iPhone 17 Pro Max's camera this year on the front-facing camera because it's definitely different. Okay, so first off, you can see that there's cinematic video on the front-facing camera on both of these phones, the Galaxy and the iPhone, but for some reason you don't get it at all when it comes to the Pixel. I'm not sure why, but check this out. Right here is called the center stage camera, and I can go straight into landscape without even turning the phone. So this is amazing. You can literally get whatever orientation video that you want, and then on photos, it's the same thing. But you can also go ultra wide or you can go cropped in, and that's amazing. This is an absolute game changer for the front facing camera, and since that works on video, I don't know. I think this is going to change the way that front facing cameras look forever, and it's definitely going to be copied. Let's start with the daytime video, and I'm going to use 4K 30 frames per second as base, but don't worry, I'll show you higher resolution later on in the video. iPhone brighter on the foreground and more accurate on the white balance, where the Galaxy S25 Ultra arguably has the sharpest image, but takes the colder approach to the scene, tames down the exposure on the foreground, while accentuating the sky with higher brightness and saturation, while the Pixel is very contrasty all around for a more dramatic look. There's the transition into the ultra wide, so let me know which one had the best lens transition. Same processing on the ultra wide cameras, but the iPhone here is the most accurate when it comes to what this actually look like. If you pause the video, you can see the ground texture is the most detailed on the iPhone as well, so let me know what you think. I know you just saw walking stabilization, but here's another example. They all pick up bounces from my walk, so let me know if you can see a major difference or not. The Pixel seems to be doing the worst, picking up more micro jitters if you can see that. When it's punched in, you can see it's a lot worse, where the other two are doing much better. The details are also better, so this gives you an idea of image quality while walking. After that, I wanted to do a quick dynamic range test. This is shot in 4K HDR on all devices so you can get an idea what this looks like side by side. Sky renditions are all different, but surprised to see a slight purple tint on the sky on the iPhone at launch, but the clouds look the most accurate. The Pixel's very saturated with the most inaccurate color, where the Samsung is in the middle, but they all have fantastic dynamic range as you expect them to. Let's take a look at the detail at 400% scale crop. If you look closely, the iPhone actually has the most noise in the video, but it seems like that is to retain more detail, but I was surprised to see this. The Pixel has the most noise reduction, but that is because this is a boosted video, and I'll show you more of what boosted versus non-boosted looks like later. And the S25 Ultra is definitely holding its own, but it seems to be hunting for focus the most, and that could have been doing with people walking in the frame, but it's crazy how different these three can be. When I was testing out portrait mode video, I also noticed this focus hunt issue on the Galaxy S25 Ultra, so I'm hoping this is just isolated to my unit, so let me know if you've been experiencing this as well. The Galaxy S25 Ultra and the iPhone have higher quality portrait mode video at 4K resolution, where the Pixel is the lowest at 1080p. The Samsung looks incredible in terms of sharpness and detail, but I think the iPhone has the best bokeh or background blur effect. It's a little bit more natural, so let me know if you agree or disagree. The iPhone is the only one out of the three that can't do 8K video, but in reality, the Galaxy S25 Ultra is the only one that can do true 8K video because the Pixel does this with software upscaling. So here's what the video looks like in 4K on the Pixel before it gets upscaled. When punched in, you can see that it lacks in detail in comparison to the iPhone, so keep this in mind. Now here's what it looks like after it gets boosted in the cloud. Now it's changed to 8K resolution, and it applies stabilization as well to take out the jitters, and it also gets brighter and sharper. And while it does have a slight over sharpened look, you can't deny how detailed the Pixel 10 Pro XL's video is after that. In this scenario, it shows how much more detail comes through in 8K, so hopefully one day we'll see this on future iPhones. The iPhone 17 Pro Max gets a new 4x telephoto lens this year, so let's test it against Google and Samsung flagships. The Pixel has a 5x optical zoom, so we'll start there, and the new iPhone has a 2x crop like all of the other phones do, and then there's the 4x lens, and the S25 Ultra has the most flexibility when it comes to the zoom ranges, including a 3x optical lens and a 5x optical lens, which is awesome. We will move the Pixel to 10x, which just doesn't look good at all without processing, and the 8x on the iPhone is a crop from the 4x, but it still looks great in daytime. But the 10x on the Galaxy S25 Ultra has crazy detail. As you can see, the max zoom is 24 times on the new iPhone. Very solid performance here, so that is a nice step up from the 15x on the iPhone 16 Pro Max. 20x is the max on the Pixel and the Samsung, so the iPhone gets more zoom than the other two on video, but the Galaxy S25 Ultra remains the sharpest. A few more tests before we move on to nighttime. They all have super high frame rate slow motion, so let's test it. Apple and Samsung both have 4K 120 frames per second options, but sadly the Pixel is still in 1080p, and you can see it's the darkest out of the three as well. No boosting option for the slow motion either. If you punch in, you can just see how bad the Pixel slow motion video is. Very noisy. The S25 Ultra I think has the best balance of dynamic range and exposure, and the iPhone looks great as well, but it's a little bit overexposed in this scenario. The iPhone 17 series gets dual capture this year, where you can record from the front-facing camera and the rear camera at the same time. The Pixel 10 Pro XL does not have this feature at all, but we have seen this on Samsung devices for years now, so it's not anything new, but I'm glad iPhone users get to use this. You can see just how long Samsung has been doing this with the software maturity. You can record it in split view if you want, or the picture-in-picture style like you can on the iPhone, but you can also choose from 2 lenses that you want to use for this setup, which makes it much more flexible, so that's awesome. Now, I know that some people use it, so I wanted to test out the extreme stabilization for action scenarios and sports. Here's me running with no special modes on, and you can see that the Pixel picks up the most movement here. It's almost unusable. The iPhone remains the most stable in this scenario, but the S25 Ultra does pretty good as well. With active stabilization modes turned on, they all do really well. The Pixel in 1080p, iPhone in 2.8K, and Samsung in 2.5K, so let me know which one that you think looks most stable. Unfortunately, these modes still don't work at night, so it's impossible to test them in low light. Last thing is the flare test. I know a lot of you complain about the iPhone green orbs, and I don't love them either, but I wanted to test them out against Google and Samsung. As you can see, flare is natural on all camera systems, but if you look at the flare, it might actually be worse on the Pixel 10 Pro XL, so that is surprising to see. And just to note, you can see how much better the dynamic range is on the iPhone in this scenario. Look at the sun here, and you can just see how weird the stabilization is on the Pixel as well. It's very unnatural. Against the Galaxy S25 Ultra, you can see the flare is still there, but it's a different color. The coating is better, so as you fade from the light source, it gets smaller, and the dynamic range is also closer, especially compared to the Pixel, but the new iPhone has next level dynamic range. All right, here we go. We're gonna move on to nighttime, so you're gonna be able to see what the front-facing camera looks like at night, and this is 4K 30 again, just to keep everything uniform across the board. So from what I can see on the screen, looks like the Pixel's a little darker. Oh, it just kind of shifted, but the iPhone definitely looks the brightest and looks the sharpest as well. And the Galaxy does look a little bit soft, so let me know which one looks better at night. Okay, here we go. Before we start with low light, let's get the Pixel Boost video thing out of the way. The Pixel 10 Pro XL's video doesn't look great at night without it, and the stabilization can suffer too, so I would recommend filming in HDR or with Video Boost on, because if you don't have it on, you're going to be extremely disappointed with your vacation videos. I mean, just look at the noise, it's awful, and to be honest, I think the video should look like these boosted videos right after you capture it. It should be done on device. And the reason why this video didn't come out earlier is because I had to wait 6 hours for all of this footage to be backed up and boosted, so that's just too long in my opinion. If you want to share something right after you captured it, it's just not going to look that good, and I'm not a fan of this method, but the video I'm going to show you in the rest of the comparison is boosted video, so keep that in mind. My rant is now over, so let's keep it moving. Let's first start with this scenario. Very dark here, as you can see, they're all struggling in their own right, but first let's examine the noise levels. All three have noise, but the iPhone is the cleanest out of the three. When the fireworks start going off, you can see the camera's adjusting to the brighter light source, and the iPhone and Pixel do better than the S25 Ultra. As you can see, the noise artifacting happening on the Samsung, so I hope they can fix this in future software updates. When you zoom into telephoto lenses, you can see it more clearly. Not that the iPhone doesn't do it, but it just has better processing as a whole when it comes to these type of scenarios. This is going to be pure personal preference, but the iPhone is the most accurate when it comes to nighttime replication. This beach area is very dark, and the iPhone reflects more of how it is in real life, where the other two try to make it into daytime, but it's all about what you prefer. Walking up to this net barrier, you can see that the iPhone is much darker, but it does not lose detail on the net or the wood. But the Pixel is impressive with that boosted video. The brightness and detail are insane, but the S25 Ultra didn't need to boost at all to get to this, so let me know what you think about that. Here's another example of noise in that same beach environment. Punched in, you can see how much cleaner the iPhone is, but I know what you're going to say. Look at the shadows here, they're crushed. So I pushed down the midtones to match, and yes, it does help, but look at the detail and noise. It's still there on the other two, so it's not just that. When it comes to color accuracy, I do like the sky color better on the S25 Ultra in this scenario. It's a little bit too saturated on the iPhone, but the skin tone on the S25 Ultra is just too saturated and it's picking up way too much of the yellow light. It just doesn't look right. The iPhone skin color is the best out of the three, and the exposure is also on point, and the Pixel looks nice too if you're going for that look. It's a little too bright in my opinion, but I wouldn't blame you if you think this looks the best. Seriously, let me know in the comments. I'm genuinely curious how you feel about this. Here's another example of the sand detail. Again, the boosted video on the Pixel looks absolutely insane. Without seeing the other two cameras, it would be difficult to tell just how dark it was. The S25 Ultra again in this scenario just picks up way too much of that yellow, so some color tuning is definitely needed. You can see that color difference again in portrait mode video. Samsung's just looks so off here, where the iPhone's is brightened, so I think people will like that best, but the Pixel is the most accurate in this scenario, and the details on point, so they all have their strengths and weaknesses. Let's continue with a zoom test in a very dark environment. Going from the ultra wide to the main sensor, all of them show a major difference when it comes to light intake, and that's expected. The 2x crop on all the phones stay consistent. I have to note that the S25 Ultra does the best when it comes to the green orbs. Pixel 10 Pro XL's 5x is next. The S25 Ultra has that 3 times that all other phones do not have, and then after that the 5 times, which looks the best out of the 3 when it comes to noise and clarity, so this is a big win for Samsung. Let's go 20x on the Pixel 10 Pro XL, 24x on the iPhone, and 20x on the S25 Ultra, and Samsung again wins the zoom, so if you like zoom, the S25 Ultra is the way to go. Next we move to 8K video. Maybe not a fair comparison since the iPhone caps out at 4K, but let's check out the detail when you crop in heavily. The iPhone is definitely the most saturated this time around, but the detail is great for 4K. Now the S25 Ultra is darker and looks more detailed, but the difference isn't as big as it is on the Pixel 10 Pro XL. That boosted 8K video again has insane detail, so kudos to Google on this. I just hope that they can do this on device very soon. After looking at more video, I did notice that the iPhone could use some tuning at night because it does pick up a lot of that purple that is coming off the walls, where the other two do better in terms of the walls. The S25 Ultra looks the most accurate here with the watercolor. The Pixel's water rendition is the most saturated, and the video is very clinical white, but I don't blame you for liking this more since it looks the most pleasing. I had to test the slow motion here on this water, and the iPhone 17 Pro Max looks the best here in terms of noise and clarity. The slow motion on the Pixel can't be boosted, so you can see the video in its true form. It's very noisy, and the resolution is 1080p, so that doesn't help for sharpness. And the S25 Ultra does have more background blur here, which I do like, but the iPhone's is the sharpest overall. So let's test stabilization at night because the iPhone does have a square sensor. Look, I'm walking through the beach. I'm walking pretty quick. There should be some bounces here. So let me know which one looks better. Can't tell on the screen so far, but you'll be able to see what the stabilization looks like. When it comes to video, they all have features that make them worthy of being a flagship device, but the Galaxy S25 Ultra holding its own being an older device really shows Samsung did its job, so with some color tuning, it will continue being considered one of the best still. The Pixel with video boost is great for the most part, but we really need to do this processing on device and not rely on uploading and processing in the cloud. But I think in the end, the iPhone 17 Pro Max still has the best video overall. It has the best balanced processing during the day and night, and while this will need some software improvements, this just launched, so I think this will be the phone to beat in 2025 and 2026 when it comes to video. All right, there we go. So let me know which one has the best video. Are the results what you expected, or did one of these phones surprise you? Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next comparison. There's a lot more coming. Stay tuned.